and I now give the floor to Norway.
Mr. Chair, distinguished delegates, it's an honor and a pleasure to be taking part in the 17th session of the UN General Assembly and to be able to speak to you as youth on behalf of Norway. The world's population is the youngest one ever, with youth constituting 1/4 of humanity. Today's young population represents exceptional possibilities. However, the lack of access to formal decision-making bodies contributes to a major democratic deficit. For instance, only 2% of the world's parliamentarians are below the age of 30. Distinguished delegates, we fear that this democratic deficit hinders us from protecting the human rights of youth and wish to address some issues pertaining to the rights of young people. Education and academic freedom is under attack. Students are expelled from universities and persecuted due to their political engagement. In conflict, schools and universities are used for military purposes. The importance of higher education and safe non-violent learning environments for all is reflected in the newly adopted SDG agenda under goal number 4 on education. Furthermore, Resolution 29/7 by the Human Rights Council urges states to comply with their responsibilities to protect education institutions from attack, investigate attacks, hold perpetrators accountable, and to provide assistance to victims. We urge Member States to endorse the Safe Schools Declaration, as well as to provide assistance to students that are persecuted due to their political engagement for democracy and for human rights.
Mr. Chair, youth living under colonial and foreign occupation experience suppression and grave human rights violations. We are especially concerned about the human rights of youth living in the non-self-governing territory of Western Sahara. We support the Secretary General's call from 2014 for a sustained, independent and impartial monitoring of human rights in the territory. It is our conviction that the best solution is to incorporate human rights monitoring in MINURSO's mandate. The new SDG agenda reflects the need to remove the obstacles to the full realization of the right to self-determination of people living under colonial and foreign occupation. Accordingly, we emphasize the importance of including a human rights mandate in all UN operations. Youth with disabilities face discrimination and barriers that restrict them from participating in society on an equal basis as others. Unless persons with disabilities are included in society and steps are taken to ensure that everyone can take part in development, we will not succeed in achieving the SDGs. Therefore, the indicators of the SDGs must include specific references to persons with disabilities. Reliable data and statistics must be available for decision makers, experts, and interest organizations. Mr. Chair, we are pleased to see that several of the issues of our concern have been addressed in the new SDGs. However, we fear that we will fail in reaching these goals if we do not include youth in all activities concerning planning, implementation, evaluation, and monitoring of the SDGs. Global partnerships is one of the key strategies to implement the new agenda, and youth must be at the core of these partnerships. Youth must be seen as active participants and must be included in decision-making structures locally, regionally, and internationally. We encourage the UN and all member states to explore possibilities for permanent structures for real and meaningful youth participation. We firmly believe that fulfillment of all human rights is a prerequisite for a sustainable and more developed world, and that this will only be possible by including youth. Mr. Chair, youth is not only the future, youth is the present. Thank you.
I I thank Norway for their statement.